the galaxy had thought humanity dead. Centuries ago, the United Galactic Council, a coalition of hundreds of advanced species, had deemed Earth a failed world. They had erased it from star maps, sealed its planet under quarantine, and declared humanity extinct. No ships dared venture near. No signal could pass the Council's barriers. Yet somewhere deep in the void, Earth endured. Its surface was scarred by centuries of isolation, wars, and natural catastrophes, but the human spirit had survived. Humans were clever, adaptable, and stubborn. And now their moment had come. On a small, battered station orbiting the ruined moon, Admiral Elias Kane looked out at the dark, fractured Earth below. His ship, the Liberty's Wrath, was one of the last human vessels in existence. Humanity had rebuilt in secret, scattered across hidden colonies in uncharted space. These colonies were far from the Council's gaze, but they were growing stronger, faster than anyone imagined. "Admiral," came a voice through the comms. Lieutenant Ria Sato, young but sharp, spoke urgently. "We're picking up a Council scout fleet near Alpha Centauri. They're heading toward our colonies." Elias tightened his jaw. "They've finally noticed us." His dark eyes reflected the blue and green of a recovering Earth below. "Prepare the fleet. I want every ship combat ready. Let's remind the galaxy why they feared humans in the first place." Across the stars, the Council species were shocked. The Thrillians, serpentine diplomats with scales that glimmered in starlight, had long dismissed humans as primitive. The Verati, giant insectoids who commanded the bulk of the Council's military, laughed at human tactics. Even the brilliant, crystalline Zillions had deemed human technology crude and unpredictable. And yet, the Council did not know that humans had learned from their mistakes, from every defeat and exile. They had studied alien technology, adapted it, and improved upon it in ways no one could have anticipated. Human ingenuity was silent, patient, and lethal. The first battle would begin in the void of the Orion Expanse, a region the Council assumed humans had abandoned. But Kane had a plan. His fleet, small but fast, would strike with surgical precision. "Evasive formation Delta," Kane ordered, his voice calm but commanding. "Ria, patch me through to the Council liaison. Let's see how surprised they get." The holocom flickered and a tall, thin Thrillian appeared, his eyes narrowing in disdain. "Admiral Kane," he hissed. "We were assured of Earth's extinction. Your existence is anomalous." "Anomalous? Maybe," Kane replied smoothly, leaning on the console. "Or maybe humans are just patient." The Thrillian scales rippled in agitation. "Your fleets are small. You are surrounded. Surrender, and we may consider your species for rehabilitation under Council supervision." "Rehabilitation?" Kane smiled. "You misunderstand. Humans don't surrender. We adapt. And we strike when the odds are against us." With that, the Council liaison vanished. Moments later, Liberty's Wrath deployed dozens of smaller fighters. They were outnumbered nearly 10-1, but Kane had one advantage the Council hadn't considered. Humans were unpredictable. The first wave of Vorthi drones lit up the void like a meteor storm. Lasers lanced across the darkness, slicing into the human fighters. Kane gritted his teeth, waiting for the right moment. "Now," he roared. In unison, the human ships executed a maneuver never seen in Council space. A spinning, weaving formation that used gravitational pulses to redirect enemy fire into their own ranks. Several drones exploded in rapid succession. The remaining Council vessels faltered, their formations broken. "Impressive," murmured Ria, eyes wide. "They didn't see it coming." Kane allowed himself a brief smile. "They won't. Not yet." The battle raged, and as the Council forces retreated, a new signal pulsed through the galaxy. Weak, barely perceptible, but undeniable. A human beacon, broadcasting across light years, sang simply, "We are alive." Across distant planets, alien scientists and military commanders paused. Ancient records of human unpredictability, cunning, and sheer ferocity were dug up. Stories older than most species alive spoke of human rage, ingenuity, and survival against impossible odds. "They've returned," whispered a Zillion historian, her crystalline body shimmering with fear. The legends were true. Kane looked at Earth rising behind the moon, battered but alive. "Let them come," he muttered. "Let the galaxy see what humans are capable of." In the shadows of exile, humanity had waited, planned, and learned. Now the universe would tremble. The Council believed the humans were fragile remnants, barely surviving in forgotten pockets of the galaxy. They were wrong. Admiral Elias Kane stood on the bridge of Liberty's Wrath, his fleet arrayed like a coiled serpent in the void. The Orion expanse stretched before them, an endless black ocean dotted with gas giants, asteroid fields, and drifting wrecks of civilizations long gone. This was human territory now, though the galaxy had never known it. Scans confirm the Council fleet is larger than expected, reported Lieutenant Riasato, her voice tight with tension. At least 50 capital ships plus support drones. They're moving in formation Delta Tau. Full offensive posture. Kane's dark eyes flicked to the holographic map. The Council assumed brute force would crush humanity immediately. But humans didn't fight like others. Humans fought smart and unpredictably. Good, Kane murmured. They think strength alone wins wars. Let's remind them that brains matter more than numbers. He activated the fleet's cloaking grid. Human ships were smaller, faster, and far more adaptable than the lumbering Council dreadnoughts. Every vessel carried advanced adaptive shields, graviton pulse weapons, and AI-assisted maneuvering. Evasive patterns Alpha through Sigma, Kane ordered. We'll make them dance to our tune. The Council fleet entered the expanse like a predator closing in on prey. Vorthi drones zipped ahead, scanning for life signatures. Thrillian warships glided like living serpents, their energy tendrils crackling in anticipation. Crystalline Zillions hovered in their command ships, observing the human fleet with skepticism bordering on disbelief. They should have died centuries ago, hissed the Thrillian Admiral Scal. How is this possible? Adaptation, replied a Zillion commander. The humans, they've evolved under pressure. Their technology is crude yet effective. Dangerous. The first skirmish erupted near the asteroid field of Epsilon Orionis. Human fighters darted between rocks and dust, using the terrain to mask their approach. Kane's plan was audacious: lure the Council fleet into a narrow corridor, then collapse the asteroids using graviton pulses, crushing the enemy ships. Admiral, Rhea warned, the Zillions are recalibrating their shields. They'll anticipate the pulse collapse in seconds. Then we improvise, Kane said. His fingers flew across the console, triggering decoy signals, holographic ships, and false trajectories. Council sensors were bombarded with thousands of phantom signatures. Confusion rippled through their fleet. The first drones were obliterated when a section of the asteroid belt exploded, hurling metal and rock into the enemy's formation. Capital ships were struck, shields flickering, energy cores overloaded. Chaos spread like wildfire. Report. Kane barked. Council losses are significant. They did not expect this, Rhea said, disbelief in her voice. Their flagship has slowed. Kane's lips curved into a thin smile. Time for the next move. Deploy the Spectres. The Spectres were a human innovation, small, near-invisible attack craft, each equipped with electromagnetic pulse bombs and adaptive AI targeting systems. They slipped through enemy lines, striking critical systems, and vanishing before the Council could respond. Dread rippled through the alien fleet. In the Council command ship, Admiral Scal bellowed, his voice cracking in rage. These humans are insane. They fight with tactics we have never seen. Kane's voice cut across the void, transmitted via encrypted comms to the Council flagship. We're not insane, Admiral. We're human. And humans do not surrender. The Council fleet faltered again. Some Thrillians attempted to regroup, but the humans had anticipated it. Using modified wormhole generators, Kane's fleet appeared behind enemy lines, striking capital ships in a sudden, devastating pincer maneuver. Entire squadrons vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Meanwhile, the Zillions, brilliant strategists of crystalline logic, whispered among themselves. We underestimated them. Their cunning, their coordination, it defies probability. The battle raged for hours. Energy beams tore across the void, asteroid fragments collided with hulls, and human ingenuity repeatedly turned dire situations into victories. Despite being outnumbered, humans adapted faster than any Council species could predict. Finally, the Council fleet began retreating. Their confidence shattered, their formations broken. Kane's voice echoed across the battlefield. You assumed we were weak. You assumed we were extinct. You were wrong. On distant worlds, Council species trembled. Reports flooded across the galaxy. Humans were alive, their fleets small but terrifyingly effective, their colonies expanding, and their strategies unorthodox beyond belief. Fear replaced disdain. Back on Liberty's wrath, Kane addressed his officers. Today we reminded the galaxy that humans survive. Tomorrow we remind them that humans lead. We've bought time, but the Council will not rest. They will bring more ships, more weapons, more allies. And we will be ready. We always are. Rhea nodded, eyes shining with resolve. What's next, Admiral? Kane gazed at the stars, each a potential battlefield, each a chance to prove humanity's supremacy. Next, he said softly, we take the fight to them. The galaxy thought they controlled the future. They were wrong. Humanity will decide its own destiny. Above the shattered remnants of Earth, hidden colonies across uncharted space, and in the hearts of humans everywhere, a spark had ignited. A spark that would grow into a wildfire, consuming doubt, fear, and every underestimation. For the first time in centuries, humanity was not hiding. Humanity was rising. And the galaxy would never be the same. Cliffhanger for Part 3. The Council regroups, sending an armada more massive than anything humans have faced. Kane must infiltrate enemy diplomacy, exploit political fractures, and use cunning to avoid annihilation. The next battle will test not just ships, but the very will and ingenuity of humanity. The galaxy's reaction was swift and severe. Humanity's signal, pulsing across light years, had shattered centuries of assumption. For the first time, Council species feared not only human survival but human ingenuity. In the Council's central chamber, an immense spherical space station orbiting the binary star of Valor Prime, leaders convened. Crystal towers reflected alien light, serpentine shadows twisted through halls, and insectoid mandarins clicked and hummed in alarm. They have fought a fleet to a standstill, hissed Admiral Scal, his scales shimmering in agitation. They should be extinct. They are supposed to be weak, scattered, insignificant. A Zillion diplomat, her crystalline body resonating with cold logic, interjected. Our intelligence underestimated them. The humans have rebuilt in secrecy. Their technology, while primitive by our standards, is enhanced by adaptability, creativity, and unpredictability. They exploit weaknesses we did not know existed. The Thrillian Chancellor, coiling around his high throne, slammed a clawed hand. Then we act. They cannot exist unchallenged. Mobilize the full armada. Send envoys to lesser species. Every fleet, every weapon, every ally we control, we bring them to bear. The humans must be crushed before their influence spreads. Across the stars, Kane was already moving. He had anticipated this. The Council, despite their technological superiority, relied on hubris. They assumed humans would cower behind planets and asteroid belts. They assumed humans would play by conventional rules. Rhea, Kane said, studying the incoming fleet's approach on the holographic map, they're bringing more ships than ever. Our current forces can't match them head-on. Then what do we do, Admiral? Kane's eyes gleamed with quiet determination. We do what humans have always done. We fight smarter, not bigger. I want us inside their command structures before they can coordinate fully. Prepare the Spectres for infiltration. Send the Ghosts, the cyber ships. We're going to turn their communications into chaos. The Council fleet emerged from hyperspace in the Auriga Rift, a swirling nebula of ion storms and radiation. Over 200 vessels, each bristling with weapons capable of obliterating entire planets, moved with perfect formation. They believed certainty was on their side. Then the first strike hit. Small, nearly invisible human craft, the Spectres, darted through the void. They disabled sensor arrays, jammed communications, and unleashed electromagnetic pulses on key vessels. Within minutes, the Council flagship's command grid flickered, leaving the enemy fleet disoriented. Impossible, bellowed Scal. How can they penetrate our shields? Our sensors. Human ingenuity, the Zillion whispered. It is evolving faster than anticipated. In orbit above the ruined planet of Therion, Kane's main fleet made its move. Rather than charging blindly, the humans used the nebula's electromagnetic storms to mask their approach. Capital ships slipped past Council detection, each graviton pulse carefully calculated to misdirect enemy targeting systems. Deploy the decoys, Kane ordered. Make them think we are fleeing in every direction. Then when they're overextended... He paused, savoring the moment of suspense. We hit the heart. Human fighters swarmed Council ships, striking at engine cores, weapon arrays, and shield emitters. Council vessels attempted to retaliate, but without coordination, their numerical superiority counted for nothing. Meanwhile, Kane had sent a covert human envoy through encrypted subspace channels. Their mission: negotiate indirectly with the Council's minor factions, planting seeds of dissent. Many species had grown resentful of Thrillian and Zillion dominance. Now humans offered subtle promises of alliances, trade, and protection, if they resisted the main Council command. The effect was instantaneous. Several minor fleets slowed their advance, questioning orders. In moments, Kane had not only disrupted the Council's battle lines, but fractured their political unity. On board Liberty's Wrath, Kane addressed his officers. This is more than a battle. This is a statement. Humans will not be subjugated. Humans will not hide. And humans will survive by thinking where others fight blindly. Rhea's voice trembled with awe. Admiral, they're splitting. The Council factions are questioning each other's orders. Good, Kane said. Now we escalate. The humans unleashed their ultimate tactic. Gravitational singularity bombs, devices capable of warping spacetime around key enemy vessels. Council dreadnoughts found themselves ensnared in miniature gravitational vortices, unable to maneuver, their energy weapons collapsing in on themselves. This cannot be, shouted Scal, clawed hands trembling. They are controlling physics. Not physics, Kane said, watching the chaos unfold on his holomap. Strategy. The battle continued for hours. Entire fleets vanished, swallowed by strategic traps. Human ingenuity and adaptability consistently outpaced the Council's raw power. Yet Kane knew the fight was far from over. This was only the beginning. Amid the conflict, messages from hidden human colonies streamed in. Civilian worlds were mobilizing, their scientists contributing innovations, their engineers retrofitting vessels, their strategists predicting enemy moves before the enemy itself. Humanity had grown into a decentralized, resilient war machine, a force the galaxy had never encountered. Finally, the Council fleet began a disorganized retreat. Scal and the Zillions convened frantically. They've survived, again, whispered the Zillion strategist. And they have not even revealed their full potential. Back on Liberty's Wrath, Kane watched the fleeing Council ships disappear into hyperspace. He turned to Rhea, voice calm but resolute. They think this is a setback. We will make it a lesson. Humanity will not wait for permission to exist. Humanity will shape the galaxy. Above the expanse, the stars seemed to pulse with anticipation. Humans had shown that cunning, adaptability, and relentless determination could overcome even the most overwhelming odds. The galaxy had been reminded, never underestimate humanity. But Kane knew something deeper waited in the shadows, an ancient Council secret, a force humanity had yet to confront. And when it came, they would need not only brains and courage, but the full measure of their apex capabilities. For now, though, victory was theirs. The signal of humanity had spread further than anyone imagined. Every species that had written humans off now whispered in fear, admiration, and disbelief. And in the dark void of the Orion expanse, humanity's rise had begun. The galaxy would tremble. Cliffhanger for Part 4. Humanity's victories trigger a political earthquake across the Council. Minor species begin openly allying with humans, while hidden ancient threats awaken. Kane must navigate diplomacy, espionage, and war simultaneously, preparing humanity for the greatest challenge yet. The galaxy was no longer certain it could control humanity. Across countless systems, whispers of the humans' cunning and resilience had spread. Minor species, long oppressed or overlooked by the Council, now looked to the humans not as a threat, but as a savior. On the command bridge of Liberty's Wrath, Admiral Elias Kane studied the holographic map of the Orion expanse. Council fleets were regrouping, but so were human colonies. Engineers and scientists had begun coordinating like never before. Each world contributed a specialty. One planet specialized in warp engine optimization, another in graviton weapon design, a third in stealth technologies. Humanity was no longer scattered, it was unified. Admiral, Lieutenant Rhea Sato said, voice tense. We've received envoys from 3 species requesting formal alliances. The Minori, the Telori, and even the Arcanthi, species the Council thought loyal. They want to join humanity against the Council. Kane's lips curved into a faint smile. Good. But alliances are delicate. We need loyalty, not desperation. Invite them but test them. If they betray us, he let the threat hang in the void. We adapt. Humans always adapt. Across the galaxy, the Council convened a secretive war council. The Thrillians insisted on overwhelming firepower. The Zillions proposed rigid, crystalline logic strategies. The Vorthi called for containment, isolation, and suppression. Yet even in their combined wisdom, fear crept in. The humans were not predictable. Their ingenuity shattered every plan, every calculation, every assumption. The humans are, whispered the Zillion strategist. Her crystalline body flickered. Beyond calculation. We cannot anticipate them. Meanwhile, Kane moved on 2 fronts. Militarily, he strengthened hidden colonies, deploying ships capable of hit-and-run assaults and gravitational traps. Diplomatically, he met with alien representatives in secure virtual chambers, negotiating alliances without revealing humanity's full strength. Every word, every offer, every subtle hint of power was carefully measured. "Why do you trust us?" asked Lyra of the Minari, her silver-scaled body glinting in the dim light of the virtual chamber. "Because you know what it means to be underestimated," Kane replied evenly. "We were erased, ignored, considered extinct. But here we are. And we intend to survive. If you stand with us, you'll survive too. But if you hesitate," he paused, letting the words sink in, "you risk everything." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "Then we stand. Not for humans alone, but for the freedom to choose our destiny." Across the expanse, the Council prepared its next strike. Skal and the Zillions had grown increasingly paranoid. "We cannot fight them conventionally," Skal hissed. "They outmaneuver us at every turn. We must exploit their allies." "We should infiltrate," suggested a crystalline Zillion strategist. "So distrust. Turn their minor allies against them. If humanity falls, our dominance is secured." Unbeknownst to the Council, Kane had anticipated this. Every alliance was tested with controlled scenarios. Every minor species' loyalty was subtly monitored. Humans had learned from centuries of exile: trust but verify. And in space, verification often meant survival. The first true test of this strategy came near the binary system of Talkesh. Kane's fleet, augmented by Minari and Taylori ships, faced a Council armada nearly double their size. Yet the humans were not intimidated. "Remember," Kane said to his commanders, "this is not about brute force. This is about patience, precision, and cunning. Make them overreach. Make them think they control the fight. And when they do," he let the pause hang, "we strike where it hurts most." The battle began with a feint. Human ships appeared scattered, retreating as if overwhelmed. The Council fleet surged forward, confident of victory. Then, with perfect timing, gravitational mines activated across the nebula, crippling engines and slicing capital ships apart. Spectres and stealth fighters struck simultaneously, disabling communication arrays, firing EMP bursts and collapsing warp conduits. Chaos erupted within the enemy lines. "Impossible!" Skal roared, claws slamming the command deck. "They anticipated our every move." "Oh, how can they know?" "They are human," murmured a Zillion strategist, her crystalline form quivering. "They adapt and they predict in ways our logic cannot calculate. Every encounter teaches them faster than we can respond." In the heat of battle, Kane initiated another layer of strategy. Hidden subspace channels allowed him to broadcast propaganda, inspiring Council-aligned minor species to defect mid-battle. Ships turned on their former allies, firing on the Council's rear lines, creating pandemonium. Humanity's ingenuity was not just tactical, it was psychological. By the end of the engagement, the Council fleet was in disarray. Capital ships limped back to hyperspace. Minor factions had switched allegiances. Across the galaxy, the news spread: humanity was not only surviving, they were winning and reshaping alliances in their favor. In the quiet aftermath, Kane gazed at the stars. "This is the first step," he said softly. "The galaxy will try to challenge us again. But every move, every victory, every alliance brings us closer to control, to survival, to supremacy. Humans are not just clever, they are unstoppable when united." Rhea, watching the debris drift past, asked, "Do you think the Council will strike again?" Kane's eyes darkened. "Yes. And next time they'll bring everything. But we'll be ready. They may have numbers, weapons, and logic, but humans have something they've never had: absolute unpredictability, relentless adaptability, and the courage to fight when everyone else believes we should be dead." Far across the expanse, new threats stirred. Ancient technologies, long dormant, sensed the resurgence of humanity. Alien systems, forgotten by time, began to awaken. Kane understood that victory against the Council was only the beginning. Bigger challenges, older than the galaxy itself, would soon test humanity's resilience, cunning, and unity. And humanity, united and cunning, would rise. Humanity's victories against the Council had sent shockwaves across the galaxy, but they had also awakened something older. Far beyond known space, hidden in the void between galaxies, ancient constructs stirred: machines, civilizations, and intelligences long thought dormant. They had watched humanity quietly rebuild, sensing a force unlike any other: adaptability, cunning, and relentless ambition. On Liberty's Wrath, Kane studied reports from deep space scouts. "Rhea, these readings, they're unlike anything we've seen. Massive energy signatures, billions of years old, yet active. Some of these artifacts predate the oldest council records. Ria's voice trembled. Are they alive? Some kind of intelligence, Kane replied grimly. And they've noticed us. Back in the council chambers, panic spread. Scala's claws rattled against his console. These humans, their expansion triggered something. Something we cannot control. The old systems are responding. The Zillions, their crystalline forms shimmering with alarm, added, we have only legends. The old stars they call them. Machines and intelligences left to guard or destroy, we never expected them to awaken. The first encounter occurred in the Erythra Nebula. A human fleet, escorting new allies from the Minori and Taylori systems, detected an anomaly. A massive construct, kilometers long, its surface pulsating with energy, eyes like void black suns scanning the fleet. It moved with impossible precision, warping space as it advanced. Prepare all defenses, Kane commanded. But understand this, these aren't ordinary enemies. We'll need more than weapons. We'll need strategy, cunning, and luck. Council warships, drawn to humanity's expanding influence, were also caught in the anomaly's path. In minutes, entire fleets vanished into warped space corridors, their signals collapsing under gravitational distortions. Humanity's ingenuity became the only advantage. Kane activated the Ghosts, autonomous AI cyberships capable of hacking systems in real time. They infiltrated the construct's energy matrix, probing for vulnerabilities. The intelligence inside the machine was alien, yet it reacted logically, calculating moves and countermoves faster than any human or council strategy. Admiral, Ria said, eyes wide, it's analyzing us. Learning from every maneuver. Then we do what humans do best, Kane replied. We adapt faster. Human fighters executed unpredictable patterns, weaving through energy fields, using decoys and graviton pulses to disrupt the construct's targeting algorithms. Simultaneously, Kane broadcast subspace signals, appealing to dormant protocols within the construct, data the old stars had encoded to recognize sentient life forms with intelligence, resilience, and adaptability. Minutes turned to hours. Every council warship in the nebula had been incapacitated or destroyed. The ancient construct focused solely on humanity, yet the humans' unconventional tactics caused its calculations to fail repeatedly. Kane's fleet exploited these brief lapses, striking with surgical precision. Finally, the construct halted, its immense form hovering over the human fleet. Kane's voice echoed through encrypted channels, not in threat, but in clarity. We are human. We survive. We adapt. We do not surrender. Observe but do not destroy. There is potential here, mutual benefit. Leave us and we will respect you. Test us and we will overcome. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, the construct's energy fields receded, warping back into deep space, leaving humanity unharmed but wary. We survived, Ria whispered. But that wasn't just a fight. It was something else. Kane's eyes were dark, thoughtful. It was a warning. And a test. The galaxy isn't just the Council, Ria. There are forces older than any empire watching, waiting. Humanity has been noticed. Even as humanity celebrated, Council factions panicked. Skal accused the humans of awakening these ancient threats intentionally. The Zillions, for the first time, admitted something even they could not control. The humans were not just unpredictable, they were a catalyst for cosmic events the galaxy had never imagined. Amid the Council's fear, Kane acted. He convened a summit of allied species. We have survived the Council's fleets, he said. We have survived the awakening of the old stars. What comes next is a choice. We can cower, hide, and wait for the galaxy to destroy us. Or we can rise, unite, and use every resource, every ally, every innovation to claim our place as apex species. Humanity does not wait. We act. And we will survive. All others may follow or fall. Ria stepped forward. But Admiral, these old stars. They're enormous. Could we really defeat them if they attack again? Kane's smile was grim yet confident. Defeat isn't the goal. Adaptation is. Humans do not fight the same way twice. Every challenge teaches us. Every enemy shows us a new way. They may be older, stronger, but they have never faced humans united, thinking, and relentless. That is power even they cannot predict. Far across the void, distant observers, the old stars, the Council, even dormant alien civilizations, took note. Humanity's rise was no longer local or political. It was cosmic. And in the shadows of the nebula, where light could not reach, something stirred. A deeper intelligence, watching the humans' every move, calculating the extent of their cunning and resilience. It was not hostile yet, but it had taken notice. And once it acted, the galaxy would be forced to witness the true apex capabilities of humanity. Kane turned to his officers, voice steady and commanding. Prepare the fleets. Strengthen the alliances. Study every enemy, every ancient threat. Humanity has survived the impossible before, and we will do it again. We are not just survivors, we are the storm the galaxy never saw coming. Above the nebula, the stars themselves seemed to shimmer, as if acknowledging the rise of a species unlike any other. The galaxy would tremble not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Humanity had awakened not just as a challenger, but as a force the universe had never known, and it had only just begun. The galaxy had begun to realize a terrifying truth. Humanity was no longer weak, no longer scattered, and no longer irrelevant. Every victory against the Council had sent waves of fear through advanced species. Now, with the old stars awakened and alliances forming, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. Admiral Elias Kane stood on the bridge of Liberty's Wrath, his fleet ready to face a combined force unlike any before. Council warships, bolstered by alien mercenaries and rogue factions, had converged near the Cyclades Rift, a nebula of swirling plasma storms and gravitational anomalies. Reports indicated that a second, even larger construct of the old stars had emerged from deep space, drawn to the conflict. Humanity was vastly outnumbered. Admiral, Lieutenant Ria Sato reported, voice taut with tension, the Council's fleet numbers over 400 ships. They've deployed plasma disruptors, gravity mines, and electronic warheads. The old star construct is, unlike the one in the Erythra Nebula. It's adaptive, learning, faster than before. Kane's eyes narrowed, scanning the holographic battlefield. Then we give it a lesson it won't forget. Humanity doesn't fight conventionally. We improvise, adapt, and strike where others cannot imagine. Prep all fleets, Minori, Telori, Arcanthi, and human. Everyone knows their role. Timing is everything. On board, ships hummed with energy as crews ran simulations and engineers calibrated graviton pulse arrays, adaptive shields, and stealth modules. Even the youngest pilots, some barely adults, felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. Humans thrived under pressure. They had always survived impossible odds. The first phase began with a daring feint. Human fleets scattered across the Cyclades Rift, appearing vulnerable. Council commanders, confident in their superior numbers, surged forward. Their weapons lit the nebula in streaks of fire and light, but Kane had predicted every move. Suddenly, the human fleet executed the Spiral Gambit, a maneuver previously theorized but never implemented. Ships moved in tight concentric rotations, each ring disrupting the gravitational and electromagnetic fields of the enemy. Plasma disruptors misfired. Gravity mines detonated prematurely. Capital ships collided in chaos. Ria's eyes widened. They're falling apart, Admiral. Good, Kane said, voice calm but intense. But the real test is next. From the center of the formation, Liberty's Wrath deployed the Aegis Protocol, humanity's ultimate innovation. Tiny stealth drones, invisible to conventional sensors, infiltrated Council ships, hacking propulsion systems, weapon arrays, and even AI-controlled defenses. Simultaneously, human cyberships interfaced with the old star construct, exploiting hidden vulnerabilities while feeding false intelligence to the Council's main fleet. The battlefield erupted into controlled chaos. Ships turned on each other, weapons misfired, and the old star construct hesitated, analyzing anomalies in its calculations. Kane exploited every pause. Human fighters darted through gaps in shields, striking critical nodes, vanishing before retaliation. Admiral, Ria shouted, we've isolated the Council flagship. Its shields are down. Prepare the grav pulse strike, Kane ordered. Synchronize all remaining capital ships. A wave of graviton energy surged through the nebula. The Council flagship shuddered, its hull buckling. Surrounding ships were thrown off course, crashing into one another. The old star construct recoiled, momentarily stunned by the precision and power of human strategy. Across the galaxy, minor allied species watched in awe as humans, long dismissed, unleashed their apex capabilities. Not brute force alone, but speed, cunning, adaptation, and unity, the combination of qualities that no other species possessed in such measure. Even the old star, ancient and calculating, seemed uncertain. Its massive form hesitated at humanity's ingenuity, unable to fully predict their next moves. Kane saw the opportunity. Now, he said. All forces converge. Show them what humans are. A coordinated strike hit simultaneously, Minari plasma lances, Telluri graviton disruptors, Arcanthi rail cannons and human stealth torpedoes. The Council fleet crumbled. Capital ships exploded in brilliant showers of fire and debris. The old star construct, overwhelmed by human tactics and adaptability, warped back into deep space, retreating, cautious and measured. Kane's voice cut across the communications grid. You believed humanity could be crushed, controlled, or erased. You were wrong. We are human. We survive. We adapt. We rise. And we will never be underestimated again. Silence fell across the battlefield. Council factions, broken and leaderless, retreated in disarray. Minor species, once oppressed, hailed humans as leaders and protectors. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy's balance of power had shifted. In the aftermath, Kane addressed his fleet. This is more than victory. This is proof. Proof that humanity is not only resilient but apex in strategy, adaptability, and ingenuity. The galaxy may try to challenge us again. It may summon threats older and deadlier. But humanity, we do not wait for permission. We act. And when we act, we prevail. Rhea, gazing at the stars streaked with debris and energy, asked quietly, "Admiral, have we won?" Kane shook his head, voice calm but resolute. "We've survived. We've shown our strength. But victory is not static. Humanity's rise is only beginning. Every challenge, every threat, every ancient power will meet the same response. Human cunning, human adaptability, and human will. We are apex. And we will remain so." Across the galaxy, the message spread. Humanity was no longer a forgotten species. They were a force of unparalleled strategy, apex capability, and relentless ingenuity. Every civilization, ancient intelligence, and hidden threat would think twice before underestimating them again. And in the void, far beyond the edges of known space, dormant watchers took note. Humanity had awakened fully. The storm had arrived. And the galaxy would tremble. The galaxy had changed. Every star system now knew the truth. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Across countless worlds, council factions lay shattered. Minor species rallied to human-led alliances, and ancient intelligences, the old stars, watched cautiously from the void. Humanity had survived every test. Now it would define the future. Admiral Elias Kane stood on the bridge of Liberty's Wrath, surveying a holographic projection of the galaxy. Fleets of human, Minari, Telluri, and Arcanthi ships moved in perfect formation. Every world that had once hidden in fear now thrummed with ingenuity, strategy, and war readiness. The final challenge approached. Remnants of the Council, allied with rogue cosmic constructs awakened by humanity's rise, had massed near the Singularity Rift, a region of space where gravitational anomalies bent reality itself. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rhea Sato reported, tension in her voice, "their numbers are unprecedented. Hundreds of capital ships, supported by orbital war platforms and autonomous constructs. And the old star presence has multiplied. They're not just defensive, they're preparing to strike." Kane's dark eyes glimmered. "Good. Let them come. Humanity thrives when the odds are impossible. Every fleet, every weapon, every mind, we unleash it. Today the galaxy witnesses apex human capability." The Council's flagship emerged first, massive and bristling with energy weapons. Dozens of allied minor fleets flanked it. Around them old star constructs drifted, enormous, calculating, and alien, their immense presence warping nearby space. "They think they can crush us," Kane muttered, voice calm but iron hard. "They are about to learn why humans survive and dominate." Phase 1 began with chaos. Human stealth squadrons darted through the gravitational anomalies, appearing in multiple locations at once. Grav-pulse torpedoes struck critical Council engines. Ships fired from unexpected angles. Fleets that once relied on coordination now struggled against unpredictable human tactics. Rhea's eyes widened. "Admiral, they're falling into every trap." "It's incredible." Kane smiled faintly. "Not traps. Strategy. Humans do not fight like others. We anticipate, adapt, and improvise. We strike where no one expects." Phase 2 involved the old stars. Kane had prepared contingency protocols. The Ghosts, autonomous AI cyberships, infiltrated their systems, simulating friendly communications while subtly manipulating energy patterns and exploiting latent vulnerabilities. One by one, constructs hesitated, recalculated, and withdrew from aggressive positions, unsure of humanity's intentions or power. On board the Council flagship, panic erupted. Admiral Scala's claws shook. Impossible. They control the old stars. They're human, hissed the Zillion strategist. They think, adapt, and strike beyond calculation. Every move we anticipate is already countered. The final phase was the Unity Strike. Human capital ships, allied species fleets, and stealth squadrons synchronized attacks on multiple fronts. Gravity wells isolated enemy ships. Plasma lances and graviton disruptors crippled defenses. Cyber warfare disabled command systems. The Council's flagship, the last symbol of opposition, exploded in a brilliant cascade of fire and debris, leaving the remnants in disarray. Kane addressed his fleet across encrypted comms. You believed humanity could be destroyed, erased, or controlled. You were wrong. We are Apex. We are cunning, adaptable, and relentless. Today the galaxy witnesses the rise of a species unlike any other. Humanity does not wait for permission. Humanity decides its destiny. Minor species cheered, some in awe, some in relief. Former Council allies, now freed from domination, pledged loyalty to humanity's leadership. Across the galaxy, systems long oppressed found hope. Humanity's rise was not just military, it was political, psychological, and symbolic. In the aftermath, Kane convened a council with all allied species. We have won battles, survived ancient forces, and overcome impossible odds. But our work is not over. The galaxy is vast and threats, both known and unknown, still exist. We must build not just fleets but alliances, intelligence networks, and technologies that ensure humanity, and those who stand with us, remain unchallenged. We will be vigilant, adaptable, and united. Rhea, standing beside him, asked softly, Admiral, will anyone ever challenge us again? Kane's eyes scanned the stars, calm and resolute. Perhaps. But humanity has shown what it is capable of. Any who challenge us will learn the same lesson the galaxy has already learned. Humans survive, humans adapt, humans rise. And when humans rise, no force can stop them. Across distant galaxies, the old stars observed, their inscrutable forms retreating but recording every human tactic. The message was clear. Humanity was a species unlike any other, capable of not only survival but domination, strategy, and apex intelligence. And so humanity's era began. Ships traveled the stars, colonies thrived, alliances flourished, and intelligence networks spanned galaxies. Humans explored ancient cosmic mysteries, neutralized threats before they could grow, and reshaped galactic politics with unmatched ingenuity. In the final scene, Kane stood on the bridge, Earth visible as a distant blue and green jewel behind him. He spoke softly yet with certainty. From exile, humanity has risen. From underestimation, we have become apex. From silence, we have become the signal that shakes the stars. The galaxy knows it now. And humanity will never be forgotten, or controlled, again. The stars twinkled, 1,000 worlds alive with human influence. Across the void, alien civilizations whispered of the species that had defied extinction, mastered strategy, and become the apex life form of the galaxy. And humanity, united, cunning, and unstoppable, had only just begun.